Does anyone have an idea how many people make New Year resolutions and how many people actually carry out their New Year resolutions?
Not exactly, ma. But
Okay.
I know that like a lot of people have like a very large number of people always have New Year resolutions. But from what I can see on the screen, according to this study, it says that only 9% of people researched completed their New Year's resolution. So I know that a lot of people usually have New Year's resolutions, but they don't all get to like a very small number. I get to complete that.
Exactly. So one of the reasons I think is because people just make New Year resolutions, but they don't back it up with a strong why. A strong why is the reason behind why you want to achieve that goal or vision. So instead of just having a New Year resolution, my advice to you all is to have a strong why. So, for example, let me give you an example for me. So, this whole empowering you thing, the reason why I love to do it is because I feel like when I was younger, I wish I had a lot of knowledge and information, and I feel like I didn't have it for whatever reason. And I feel like if I had some information that I know now, I could have made maybe better choices. And so for me, that's what is my why for having is this vision of empowering it. Obviously, it came from God, but that's for me on my own, on a personal level, that's my own why. So when you tie a why to your vision, it I'll give you some of the benefits in the next slide. It helps you stay motivated throughout the year. That's one thing. It helps you get back to your vision even after tragedy, even if you've gone through a rough season. It helps you say no to good things. So, for example, if you want to be a doctor or a lawyer, those are two good choices. But which one is supposed to be for you? So, it helps you say yes to the things that will help you get your vision, and then it'll help you say no to the good things. They are good things, but they are a different path that won't get you to your vision. And then, of course, it helps you avoid bad habits. So, on those days where I'll give you an example for myself, it's sometimes can be discouraging, like when as you're trying to achieve what you feel God has called you to do, so many obstacles. Obviously, that's a part of life, right? Obstacles and challenges are a part of life. And so sometimes you feel like giving up. Oh, maybe I should just quit. And but when you remember, when God helps you remember that strong why, when you see the beautiful faces of the young people who their lives will be changed just because you didn't give up, or you or your team, because I have a beautiful team. My team is the best team in the whole world, in my own opinion. But when you and your team, when on those days that are difficult, when you remember the why you are doing what you are doing, it keeps you motivated. It helps you just keep going. So, uh, if you have a New Year's resolution as of this training, my challenge to you is to go back and think and ask yourself why. Why this New Year resolutions? And find a reason why. And if you can't find a reason why you want what you're wanting, maybe it's a clue to you that you need to rethink yourself why, what you're trying to achieve and why are you here? What's the thing about you? So please, again, think about it. So for today's approach, this is what we want to do. We want to start from the bird's eye view, so which is just a general view. So a vision is just a general picture of where you think you're going, and then we want to drill it down to a more specific or microscopic view, which is to your plans. And then I have a new one for this year, which is weekly accomplishments. So if you have your pen and your paper, here we go. So let's start with vision. That's the general one. That's like the high bird's eye view. I have a scripture here for those of you who are interested. And my challenge to you all, why vision? Why have a vision? Why have dreams? Because if you don't know where you are going, how will you know if you get there? Okay. The second thought for you is this, if you are following the crowd, how can you be unique? Okay. Then the third one, and this is one I think that I would say for me, I feel like many of us do it. At least I could say for many years I was doing this one. If you are following someone else's vision, right, you're robbing the world of your own existence. So, for example, many of us go to school. Why are you going to school? Because your parents wanted you to go to school. Why are you doing this? Because someone else wants me to do that. And that's fine when you are younger. Because when you're younger, you really don't know much. But as you grow older, you need to start owning your own vision and asking yourself, okay, what's unique about me? Why am I uniquely here? And you need to start defining yourself by that. The world doesn't need more clones. It needs you. For example, and I gave an example here. How many of you have a smartphone? I'm sure all of us have smartphones, right? But think of it. Up until 2007, when people were watching TV, they needed like a screen. You remember, you guys remember those big TVs, right? Before even the invention of smart screens, those big TVs. That was actually up until 2007 when Steve Jobs came up with the smartphone. Today we can watch TV on our smartphone. So imagine if Steve Jobs did not find what was unique about him and bring it to the world. Imagine if he didn't have a vision. I challenge you to go on YouTube or TikTok, look for, type in videos of Steve Jobs. You will see, I think it was in the 90s when, or early, when he had this vision. He was like, he sees this small thing, and everything. He already had the vision in his mind, even before it came to pass. So I challenge you to have your own vision. We need you uniquely in this world. We don't need you following other people's vision. Yes, it's good when you're younger, but now as you're older, you need to start finding out what are you supposed to be doing with your life? What makes you unique? Okay, so the next thing is this. It's good to have a vision for all areas of your life. So most of the time, again, when we have New Year resolutions, it's because we've discovered like a problem. Maybe, oh, maybe I failed an exam. I want to do better next year. That's not bad. But again, if you want to sustain beyond just that problem, you need to have a vision, and it's good for you to have a vision for every area of your life. Most of the time we focus on visions just for our professional life, like just school or work or everything, but it's also good for you to have a vision for your physical body. Like, for example, do you want to be healthy? Do you want to what do you want to eat well, all those things? What about your relationships? How do you want to relate to your parents, your loved ones, all those things? What about spiritually? Where do you want to be spiritually? What about leisurely? What do you want to do your time when you have extra time? Habits, all those things. If you really want to have a well-rounded life, that's the key, is having a well-rounded life. Many times you see, like for example, some of these celebrities are very successful, but then you see some of them, their children are on drugs. You don't want that. Or sometimes their marriages fail. Yes, there are reasons for that. But my point to all of us is this: you want to have a vision for every area as much as possible, because you want to have a balanced, and you want to have all-round success, not just one success in one area of your life. Visions are not time bound, so you don't have to say, oh, by 5 years, 10. No. Just have the vision. This is where I'm trying to go, um, and then the rest of it will fall into place. Then my last challenge for us is that dream as big as you want. See, the thing about a vision is that it doesn't matter whether it's impossible or not. It doesn't matter if anyone has done it or not. That's not the point. The point is it's your vision. Okay. Like for example, before Steve Jobs came up with the smartphone, nobody had, I think someone tried it, I believe in the 1990s, but that person never brought it to market until he came. Or if you look at, so we're going to be sending some videos. If you watch our videos this month, you will see that we also, as a group, we talk about the airplane. Before the Wright brothers thought about the airplanes, people had tried it, but nobody was able to bring it to vision. So my point is that it doesn't matter if it's an impossible vision, it doesn't matter. That's not the point. Just dream as big as you want. Because the bigger your vision, the more you'll be stretched. If your vision is to create the next restaurant, that's not a big vision. Everybody has done it. But if your vision is to create the next, restaurant maybe with 360, I mean, if it's unique, then it's yours. But my challenge is this: dream as big as you want because it will stretch you and you want to stretch yourself. You just don't want to live an ordinary life. So let's practice. I'm gonna give us like 1 minute, okay? So, and if you have your pen and paper, please bring it out now. I want us to close our, even if you've had your visions, you can use this time to just review it. Um, I want you to close your eyes. If you've done this, fine. If not, no problem. Close your eyes and dream. See yourself. I want you to picture yourself in the next 5 to 10 years. Where do you see yourself? What do you want for your life? Okay. Doesn't matter if it's impossible. I want you to write it down. And then after you write it down, I'm going to ask you to place it in a visible area so you can see it all the time. Okay. And then you can read our publication, which is coming out this year. If you're not on our mailing list, email us. We'll put you on our email list. But so let me give us next 1 minute. Let's all do this activity. I want you to close your eyes, dream. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years? I want you to just write it down. So make sure you have your vision in a place where you see it regularly. For example, for me, let me show you what I did this year by the grace of God. So I have a planner that I designed for myself. But I designed my planner this year. And what I did is that I have a place where I put pictures. Actually, I can show you. Let me see if I can quickly show you what it looks like. So just so you can see what I did. Let me share. Can you guys see this Word document?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this is what I did. Talking of putting your vision where you see it all the time. So this is what, by God's grace, I did this year. So the planner has a lot of good information, to be honest with you. But this is okay. This is what I did by the grace of God. So this is my place where I put my vision for 2026. So here I wrote things down like scriptures that I'm praying over myself. But here I put pictures of people that have achieved what I'm trying to achieve. So people who, for example, their spiritual life, I want to emulate their spiritual, I put their pictures there so that I have a visual of where I'm trying to go. Same thing, emotional. For example, one of the things I want to do is I want to be an avid reader. So, here I put my scriptures or words or whatever, words of encouragement, affirmation, whatever it is you call it. But here I put pictures of people that I know. I think it's one person, an avid reader. If I remember correctly. Same thing here, physical. As a person, there's a certain way I want to I want to feel physically in my body. I want to look a certain way, not vanity. I'm not talking of vanity. I'm just talking of I want to be healthy. I want to, maintain a healthy weight. I think so. Same thing here. I put the my scriptures or affirmation, and here just took pictures of people who are where I'm trying to get to. I just put their pictures there. Again, it's just to have a visual of where you're trying to go. So let's go to the next thing, which is let's now narrow down our vision to goals. Because so you have this great idea, blah, 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 and everything, but now you now have to put steps to it. Because how are you going to achieve that vision? Now is the next step. So now we want to narrow it down to what is our core goals. I know you all probably already know goals. They have to be SMART. You guys probably you can just go on Google, just type SMART goals. You see all the things about SMART goals. My point here is that your goals can be long term and short term, both long term and short term. For example, maybe your goal is to be a doctor, right? And you could be in high school now or secondary school or you're in university. So there are steps to that goals. Some of the steps are going to be long term, so greater than a year, to take you greater than a year to accomplish them. But some could be within a year. So My advice to you is that when you are setting your goals, when you write your goals down, put the short ones and the long-term ones and the short ones. Identify which ones are short-term and which one are long-term. Because you want to focus for this year on your short-term goals, or anything you can do this year is what you want to prioritize, especially when we get to the plans. So identify your short-term and your long-term goals. Even if you don't have all the resources, or even if you don't have all the things, but at least identify the things that you need to do. I have an acronym for goals, which is that just get going. Sometimes we, especially if the goal, the or vision is so impossible, you just sometimes we get paralyzed, like there's nothing I can do. Just get going. Even if all you have to do is to start researching, just get online, start researching. Like, for example, maybe your goal is to have the next technology for AI, blah, blah, blah. That technology doesn't exist today. But there is existing technology that you can actually research today that can form a foundation of that new technology that you're trying to build. So get going, do something today, get organized. Many times we are not organized. We've not taken the time to actually sit down and actually plan out what we're trying to do was, and see, here's the thing, it's good to have some form of organization. Not all of us are going to be like super, super organized. That's not what I'm, no, no, no. Just something that keeps you, just gives you a form of organization. Even if all you do is to have a book or your calendar or something that you are working with. The other thing is that in your goals, aim high. I had a math teacher when I was in secondary school, and one time she was teaching us, I can't remember what kind of math she was teaching us now, and she told us something, I never forgot it. She said we should aim high. That's what she said. She said because when you aim high, chances of you achieving something are greater. But when your goal is not high enough, then you won't achieve much. So, because when you aim high, you stretch yourself. So you want to stretch yourself. So aim high. Like for example, if your goal is to get a B in your course, don't do that. Aim for an A so that part of worst case you get that B. But if you aim for a B, then most likely you end up with a B minus or a C. I'm not sure how the grade system is. So aim high. The other thing is laugh. Don't take it too seriously. I think sometimes we can be very serious and stressed. No, no, no. The goal is not to stress yourself. The goal is to just get you going, go in the direction you're trying to go. So don't take it too seriously. And then my last S, my thing for S is a stumble. Make adjustments as you go. There is this thing that when I was growing up, it was like, you have to be perfect. Everything has to be perfect and everything. And I found since I've grown, I found out that that's actually not the case. The case is that be willing to fail as you go. And if you study the people that we admire today, all the Elon Musks and all the name them, Jeff Bezos, um, Dangote. If you look at all of them, you see that they had a lot of failure along the way, right? They just kept going. They stumble, they fall, they make adjustments. They keep going. They stumble, they fall, they make adjustments. They keep. So that's what I want us to encourage, that kind of mindset. You set out to do something, you stumble, you fall, get up and just keep going. Don't sit in the dust and wallow and then give up. No, 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 no. Keep going, stumble, make adjustments and go. So now let's practice. I want us to take one of your visions that you've written down. I want you to please, and I'm just going to give us a minute because again, I want to try and hopefully get this done in an hour so you all can, continue your day. But I want you to take your vision, one vision that we wrote down before. I want you to identify the goals that you think we need to achieve to accomplish that vision. And then identify, is it long term or is it short term? You can use the SMART acronym if you want, that's up to you, but just identify the goal. Well, after the training, you can now do the same for your other visions. And then write them down. Let's get into the habit of writing things down as well. So write your short-term and your long-term goals. So pick one vision and write it down. So now that you've identified your short-term and long-term goals, let's now go to the next thing, which is the plan. So this is now where you are now going to put legs on your goals. So I have an acronym for plan, which is putting legs to achieve your what limit it to short-term goals and then schedule it. I have a thing of if you don't schedule it, it won't happen. So this is where many of us um or some of us, because I think some of us already are perfect in doing this, but some of us, what we do is that we have these lofty goals. We know which one is short term or long term, but we don't actually break down the task. Okay, for example, let's say you want to get an A this semester. What tasks do you have to, or what plans, or what things you have to do to get that A? Do you have to maybe have a study group? You have to go to, your teachers, I don't know, whatever it is. You have to put plans to those goals. And then you have to put it on your schedule. When do you plan to do it? Is it every week, every other week, once a month, twice? When are you planning to do it? Is it on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, over the weekend? You have to put it on your calendar so that you can see it. If you don't schedule it, it won't happen. Okay? So I want to give you all some tips on plans. Be flexible because sometimes you plan all these nice things and then life happens. Maybe you get a call, someone is sick and things like all of a sudden your plans are derailed. So be flexible, be ready to change it. But at the same time, stick to your plan. So for example, your friends are going out to party, but you plan that you're supposed to do something. Prioritize your plan. Your future is worth it. You are worth it. So prioritize your plan. Don't give up when you fail. You're going to fail, or at least some of us are going to, as you go along, you may fail. Don't give up. Then this is the one that I'm going to talk about later, but review your plans and goals periodically. So one of the reasons, remember the statistics I showed you at the beginning that only 9%, according to that study, actually follow through. And I think one of the reasons is because people don't review their goals periodically. At the beginning of the year, you set this beautiful, lofty goal, and then it just stays in your book. You never open it again throughout the year. How do you expect it to be in your brain? No, it will, because life happens, and especially in a generation, there's so much coming at us. This thing on social media, this one is happening, especially with everything going on in the world today. So if you're not reviewing your goals periodically, then chances are at some point you forget about you even remember what you set out to do at the end of the year. So you have to review them periodically. And then use techniques rather that suit your unique self. So for example, many of us, because we've not taken the time to know ourselves, we don't know, like for example, how many of you know your learning styles? The style that is dominant that you learn information. If you don't know that, then chances are that you are probably either just trying to figure something out or you are using a method that works for somebody else that may not work best for you. So you have to know yourself. How do you best receive information? And we have a video, I think we did it last year, I believe Daniel, I'm not sure, where we talk of learning style. So go back to our videos and watch it. Figure out your best learning style and start taking information that way. For example, me, I'm a kinesthetic learner. No matter how much you tell me something, if I don't try my hands on it, I've not heard it. As far as uncle, I've heard what you've said, but I have to try it. Some people are auditory learners. They learn by listening. So for such people, use audio a lot, and so on and so forth. Use techniques that suit yourself. So, for example, me, this is the age of device, and people are on their smartphones and tablets and everything. And I have my smartphone, I have my tablets. But for me, because I grew up before the age of smartphones, I find out that using a book works best for me. Using a book works best for me. So that's why I have my planner that I use. It works well for me. That's my own unique style. Find out know yourself, and then use techniques that suit you so that you can achieve what you're trying to achieve. So, with that said, I want us to now work on, I'm just going to give us a 1 minute to work on maybe one aspect of your short. Remember, limit to your short-term goals because Your short-term goals, what you can achieve between now and the end of 2026. Okay. Figure out what tasks do you need to achieve one of your goals. What tasks? In other words, whether it's weekly, monthly, however you want to schedule it, what tasks do you need to do to accomplish your goal? Now, this is another very, very important one. Do you need people to help you achieve that goal? Do you need people resources? For example, you're trying to build a technology. Can you code? If you can't code, then you're going to need someone who knows how to code. So that's a people resource. Maybe you need a virtual assistant to help you stay organized. Whatever it is, identify the people resources you need to achieve your goals. Then now look at your calendar. Now we're going to be intentional. I want you to look at your calendar or your phone and schedule those tasks. So that way you have scheduled it. You know that on this day, so by this day you should have accomplished this task and place them on your calendar. So I'm going to give us 1 minute now to do this task. Please take out your note or whatever you're doing. Identify one goal and write down all the tasks associated with that goal, the people you need, if you need people. Let's put it on our calendar now. So let me explain to you what I do. For calendar, I use my phone. I use my phone calendar, okay? If you check my calendar, you see all the things are scheduled. You don't have to do it, but that's how I do it. That's what works best for me. So now this is one important thing I want to talk about. Reviewing your goals quarterly, every quarter. So the year is divided into 4 quarters from January to the end of March, then from April to June, July to I think it's September, and then October to December. So my challenge to you is review your goals at the end of every quarter. So for example, your first goal review now is going to be at the end of March or early April. And ask yourself these questions. How are you progressing on your goal? What challenges have you had so far? Who can you ask for help with the challenges? What changes can you make moving forward? And then ask any other questions you think. Because the thing about it is that you want to put that goal before your face consistently, and you constantly want to review it so that you can be making adjustments as you go. That's the way you can, number one, to help you stay motivated. Number two, you make sure that you're moving towards the target that you're trying to achieve. And then for me, this year is a new one. I actually put it in my planner. It's weekly accomplishments. And the reason is because sometimes as you are trying to achieve all these things, sometimes you get discouraged. You feel like maybe you set a very high goal. You feel you're not achieving the goal quite the way you want it, but you may be actually accomplishing things, just that maybe you're not hitting where you feel you should hit. This is where having weekly accomplishment helps you. So maybe, for example, you wanted to read 5 books a week because you want, like me, I want to be an avid reader. So that's one of my goals. I want to read books all the time. So anyway, maybe I set out a goal to read 5 books this week, right? But maybe I was only able to read one book, right? And I'm beating myself. You're such a failure. You wanted to achieve 5 books, you only did one. But when you review your goals and you see you actually read one book, you should actually give yourself a pat on the back for reading. At least you did something, right? And that keeps you motivated. That keeps you going versus beating yourself down. Oh, you're such a failure. No, 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 no. At least remember, we said at the beginning, set very high goals, right? So that you can fall high. So make sure that you are also acknowledging your weekly accomplishments. Celebrate any small win you may have, especially if you are in a group. Celebrate the small wins you may have so that you're not discouraged, and also so you can see opportunities where you may not have noticed one before. Sometimes when you take the time at the end of the week to actually celebrate what you did, for example, if you find out that maybe you read one book, you might discover something. Maybe there's an opportunity there. Maybe you like fiction books or something. You never know. But again, just celebrating small wins helps you, keeps you motivated and things like that. So with that said, any questions? I was going quite fast today. Any questions that I can answer for anybody or anything you guys have? Let's just talk amongst or any thought or anything. We can just chat amongst ourselves. Any questions?
Oh, yes, ma, I have a question, ma.
Yes, please go ahead.
One thing I found out, ma, is that you might have these beautiful plans and goals, and you've even written them all down. You have them all planned out, and sometimes you just struggle with consistency in doing this thing. Like it's really sometimes it's just difficult to take action. It's just difficult to take action because or for you to set big goals, you need big discipline, you need consistency to achieve these things. And sometimes even the thought of just coming out of your old discipline and all of that and just moving with this very hard discipline, like it's very hard sometimes. So sometimes the problem is just like taking action. What can you do to like help yourself out of that, like taking action and being consistent?
Yes, I like that question because it's something I struggle with too. And I think that's why having a strong why is important. Um, because when you especially one thing about having a strong why is if you can tie your strong why with something outside of yourself. So for example, for me now, let's say for example this whole youth thing, the reason why I'm doing it is because I love young people. I want to help young people. I wish that a lot of the information that I have today, I wish someone I had it years back. So for me, by the grace of God, this why is outside of myself. It's not about me. It's about helping other people. And so for me, one thing that motivates me and gets me out of bed every day is the thought of other people because I'm not doing it for me, I'm doing it for others. So when I feel like sleeping, just when I think of, okay, this is by God's grace, this is all, it gets me motivated. So find out first of all, what is it, what is that thing that um makes you get out of bed? Is it solving problems for the world? Is it solving problems for your family? And if you can, my experience, if you can tie that why to your goals, it keeps you motivated. It makes you get up. Another thing of also get going is to put it on your schedule as well because there's something about when you put something and it's staring in your face, and that's why I explained to you that put your vision somewhere where you're always seeing it because most of the time we write it down, we put it on our device, then we never open it again. So it's not constantly in our face, and because it's not constantly in your face, and we some of these things we tackle in our videos this month and in the publication. There's one article that we put, I think it was a publication. It says that when you write something down, it actually does something to your brain. But it also, I believe it's also talks about when you see it. So put it in a place that you're always seeing it all the time. So it's always registering your brain. Oh, I need to do this thing. Oh, I need to do this thing. Oh, I need to do this thing. And then another thing you can also do is to, if you have people that you trust and they can hold you accountable, you might want to get an accountability partner and you say to them, okay, because I actually thought of doing that, and actually actually going to be meeting with some of my spiritual mentors this year. I want to share my goals. You can actually do that. You can say, okay, you take that goal that you set, you say, okay, this is my goal for this year. Take this goal. I want you to hold me accountable. Ask me every week, have you done so and so? Ask, or it's up to you. You can tell them, ask me every 2 weeks. Ask just the fact, see, there's something about the human nature. If they ask you like 3 times and you say no, 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 finally, sometimes out of shame, you just go and do this because you don't want to keep saying no to them over and over again. So that could be another thing. You may want to get an accountability partner as well that will, keep someone you respect, right? You obviously you don't want to get like your junior sister or brother. You just say to them, get out, don't talk, like has to be someone that that you respect and you honor them. So that could be another thing. And there are just different ways you can try. But my challenge to you is that just put it on your calendar and just make up your mind that by God's grace you're going to do something. And then, one other thing that you may want to do, set yourself up for success. So, for example, let's say your goal is to read 5 books this week. Let's say that's one of your goals, right? Don't put the books in your shelf. Put the books on your dining table. Put the books on your places that you see it so that you're constantly reminded. So, for example, maybe one of my goals this year is that I want to stop scrolling on my phone as much as I do. Because I see myself just scrolling. So, you know what I've tried to do this year? I've tried to, okay, you know what? When first of all, I put times that I'm supposed to scroll on my phone so that it's not, I'm not going cold turkey, okay? I'm just going to say, okay, between 3 p.m., I'm going to scroll on my phone 3 p.m., 6 p.m., 9 p.m. But if it's not 3 p.m., one of my things to set myself up for success, you know what I decide to do? I leave this phone in a different room so that it's not close to me. Because if it's close to me, I just find myself reaching for my phone and next thing I'm scrolling. So that's how I've decided, that's one way I want to set myself up for success. So I hope that I hope that helps. I don't know if that helps. But does anyone else have any tips for Daniel's question? Anything else that you do? Well, let's just learn from ourselves. Anything else that we can do to get ourselves going?
Thank you
Dabere,
very much, man.
oh, you're most welcome. Dabere, okay, Austin, go ahead.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening,
Yes, we can
everyone.
hear you. Go ahead.
So, Daniel, for me, what I do is, uh, alarm is very important. So I set alarms throughout the day, and I write the description as maybe a reminder, maybe for that goal I've set. I write it as a description. Okay, so throughout the day, I get reminded alarms constantly, constantly, constantly. So if I forget in the morning, in the afternoon, I get reminded again. In the evening, I get reminded. So that's how I keep myself updated. So that's how I do mine.
That's good. I like
If it
that.
helps.
Anyone else? Okay, Daniel, I hope that helped. Any other questions?
Yes, man. Thank you, man.
I'm looking forward to good news from all of you 2026 to see what you guys are going to accomplish this year. And I'm rooting, well, our team and I were rooting for you guys to accomplish great and fantastic things. You guys are the next Elon Musk of our generation. You guys are the next Jeff Bezos, the next Steve Jobs of our generation. It can be you next. There's no reason why you cannot be the next Steve Jobs. There's no reason why you cannot be the next person to invent the next technology that will disrupt industry. There's no reason, no reason. Your background doesn't no where we live in a global age. So it doesn't even matter where you come from anymore. There are no limits to what you guys can achieve. So you guys go and achieve great things. And thank you for joining this training. God bless you guys.